Congratulations, Dr. David and Peg Arnett. We are all honored to know and work with such an outstanding couple. We thank you for your years of service, bettering our community, and selfless commitment to ensure quality health care in the Upper Arkansas Valley and around the world.
My father grew up in Southwest Texas, and my mother grew up in Denver. My mother was Irish Catholic and my father was Southern Methodist, so that made for an interesting combination. Maggie's family lived in Pueblo, and it was a great opportunity to get away and go see Grandma and Grandpa down in Pueblo. They lived on a farm and a ranch, and of course that was a fun opportunity for the kids to do that.
I can actually remember the moment that I met Dave. As nursing supervisor, I was always asked to do the difficult vascular access, so the difficult IV starts. And so I was with the patient and I just could not get this IV started. And so somebody said, well, you know, we have residents now and maybe they can do it. And so I said, I'm going to call one of the residents. I'm going to see what they got. And so I called the resident on call, and it happened to be Dave that came to the patient bedside, and he did start the IV that I was not able to start. So that is how I met Dr. Arnett.
She wasn't just in the emergency room or up in orthopedics. She was everywhere. So the hospital at times was her domain, so we knew who to turn to.
Certainly, both Dave and I had been very familiar with the Upper Arkansas Valley. I grew up in Pueblo, so I came up here regularly throughout my life, as certainly Dave did. And so I remember when Dave chose Salida, and we came here, it really felt like I was coming home. I think one of my fondest memories of Salida during that time was the trains were still running. And so we would hear the trains and, start coming down from actually Climax and Monarch is where I believe they were coming from. But you'd start to hear them blow their whistle at each crossing. And I remember that the first crossing that we could hear from downtown was when they crossed near the Skanga homes, and you would hear it and you could just trace it all the way through town. And that was just very familiar and very soothing, particularly at night.
Gosh, when Maggie and I moved here, we had so many opportunities. I mean, the community just, and I think it continues to be that way, offer incredible opportunities both personally and professionally.
We lived above Dave's office on First Street about the first 4 or 5 years of moving to Salida and starting the practice and our family. And that certainly had good and bad points to it. First of all, you never left home. And second of all, you never left work.
So I've known Peg for the last 20 years. I got to know her on a more personal level about 18 years ago when she started going on medical mission trips with us. And we've been to many, many countries and done many trips. And I've really come to rely upon Peg. She is like my right-hand person. And I'm not sure that I would go on a trip without Peg. She does such a good job.
We went to El Salvador on a mission trip. This particular trip was one of the hardest that we've ever done. The conditions were dirty. The housing was none like any we'd done before. And this was Peg's first trip with us. Honestly, I didn't know if she would come back or want to join us again, but didn't scare Peg off, and she's been with us on every mission trip since then. Peg and I have shared many fun, adventurous times, from eating guinea pig in El Salvador to riding the Montserrat in Colombia to risky rickshaw rides in Nepal.
At the beginning of the day, there may be 100, 150 people in line to be seen, and I'll tell Peg, look at that, we need to get to work, and she'll look at them, and in her patented, only Peg can say, is wow.
I think for me, One of the biggest things after a mission trip and after my encounters with other human beings is that I come back with my inner spirit rekindled. And I think for me, that's why I keep going back and why I hope this spirit is transferred onto my family and my children, that they can experience this.
Peg's career has really ran the gamut of bedside nursing to supervision at home health and starting new programs at home health and the hospice program. But I believe some of her greatest achievements have really been in the education department since she became the education director at Heart of the Rockies. She has implemented many new programs. She is herself an expert instructor in ACLS and BLS and has taught classes for TNCC. And I just find that amazing how one person can be an instructor for so many different kinds of things. And she has really taken our education program to a whole new level. And she's done an amazing job. One of the greatest impacts Peg has made, other than education, has been acting as the interim Vice President of Nursing and our patient services. Peg has stepped in several times and become the interim director, and a role that we've all supported her in and felt she's done a great job with, and then has become kind of that mentor for our new vice presidents. As they come in, they look to her for direction and that history, that background of what's been going on at the hospital.
It was my first year of nursing school, and I was having a conversation with my mom about clinical sites and where I was going to go, and at that time there was starting to be quite a shortage of sites for nurses to go to. And I remember this look in my mom's face, and she said, "Gosh, maybe we could have you do some of your clinical work at Salida Hospital." I was approached numerous times by people and comments with, "Oh, your mom is your clinical leader. She must go easy on you," and it was actually quite opposite. My mom, of course, as any mother does, know your potential, knows what makes you tick, knows how to push you just past your comfort level, and she certainly did that to me and pushed me to levels that I wasn't sure I could go to. Of course, at the time, it seemed like she was being a little bit hard on me, but I look back now and what a gift that was to be mentored by my mom and such a strong, solid nurse. I owe her the world for that.
Maggie and I have been able to work in tandem and parallel, but we've also been so experienced in this personal combined experience of working in Chaffee County and in this area. And it has been such a profoundly significant part of my life to be able to discuss and work with Maggie on so many different things over the years in our work and experience and focus and interest, and that personal togetherness that we've developed over the years with regards to this has been the icing on the cake. Our practice in Salida was developed in large part because I elected to choose to do something on my own. And so over the years, the practice has grown. I've been incredibly fortunate to know some incredible physicians over these years. And I've been forever grateful to the partners that I have had and have currently that have allowed me to develop the focus on rural medicine that was my focus when I moved to Salida.
Dave's had a pretty incredible career. He's been here in Salida for over 30 years. He started his practice here, and then he expanded to northern Saguache County. We go down to Saguache and then into western Fremont County because we go to Cotopaxi. He also has done so much through the medical staff. He's been chief of staff. He's been on multiple committees. He used to work in the hospital back when the doctors were the emergency room physicians.
Well, he's had an outstanding career here, obviously, and I think one of the major impacts that I see kind of from the outside looking in is his continuing care in Cotopaxi and Saguache. Not only good for the people there, but that kept a lot of those patients from, if they had to go to the hospital, from going to Canyon City and going to Alamosa.
For years growing up, he has ran cattle with his patients in Saguache and delivered generations of their children. And I believe there's a lady who always brings him blueberry pie when he makes a house call to her house. And that's things that hit home for medicine and is so admirable for medicine today and for a physician today. You don't see a whole lot of house calls anymore. You don't see payment in blueberry pies that often. And these are things that I believe keep my dad going, and it doesn't seem like a job to him. This is really where his passion lies.
Amazing experiences that have gone so fast and so quickly and so rapidly over the last 30 years of my life. But it has brought me back to center when I think about how incredibly fortunate I've been with a woman at my side here today, and the incredible shared experiences with our children and with the people that we've grown to know and understand, and frankly, to respect and appreciate. This has sort of turned on a light for me as I think about things. The appreciation of this incredible 30 years has sort of been concentrated over the last couple of months, where you get up every day and you frankly thank God of family, children, associates, support, the community where we live, the mountains. So it means many things to me.
Mom and Dad, I'm at a bit of loss of words. I want to thank you so very much for the gifts you have shared with us, for your compassion, for your dedication to healthcare, for all you have given to our family, to my siblings and myself, your grandchildren, the community and the hospital. We love you so very much. We are so very proud of you. This is your night to shine.